Hello everyone, I'm Carthu and welcome back to my game room. Today we will be discussing the starter Pokemon for Gen 8, what we can notice about them, see what's happening there, and sort of give a little bit of dissection as to what we know so far. Obviously there are many other people who have done this already, but plenty of people want to know my opinions on the subject, so I decided to dedicate a video to it. Hopefully in the near future, I'll be able to produce more content on this channel, besides just these once-a-week videos. We'll see how that goes, though. I am still in school right now, college that is, and once that comes to an end, at least for this semester, I'll have a bit more free time to give more love and support to this channel. But without further ado, let's jump into it. To be simple, let's go in the order that the trailer presents the starter Pokemon. So to start, we have Scorbunny. First, we have it running across some metal. A metal gear, wheel, whatever you want to call it. Is it going to be a steel type because of this? I've seen a lot of that speculation run around. You also have the nose tape, which is very similar to things that sports or fighting people wear in anime and manga. However, I would like to point out that it's more commonly associated with fighting people who participate in martial arts of some sort. Take a look at Kenichi, Mightiest Warrior, or even in Pokemon itself, Maylene, the gym leader of the fighting gym in Sinnoh. You also have the fire steps that come after it as it runs away, perhaps indicating Blaze Kick or another fire-specific move for this Mon. It also seems to be very fast, but I think that may just be the way the trailer was laid out. It may not be specifically there to indicate that this Mon is super fast. However, if it is a sporty type Pokemon, then perhaps speed and agility overall are something that are going to be emphasized on this Mon. And finally, to go over the name, we have Scorbunny. Score could be scorch or to score a goal, and of course, bunny is because, well, it's a bunny. Its design seems to have little indications of fire and bits like that, and as I already mentioned, the tape on the nose is probably the biggest giveaway for what its future evolutions could be. I think the steel type is a bit of a stretch, and that the actual correct answer there is the fighting type, unfortunately. Another firefighting type, especially even with the sports theme. I think we've seen that sports themed Mons tend to get the fighting type. Next, we move on to Scobble, and yes, it is Scobble, not Sobble. Invisible when it starts, in perhaps a way indicating the ghost type. However, I think this is more to do with the animal it's based off of. While it does seem to be amphibian in nature based on it being in water, I think that just comes down to more of it being a water type, very similar to Squirtle, who is also a water type but is a reptile. And very similarly here, I think we have another reptile, a chameleon in this case, due to the camouflage, the way the hands are, and the curly tail. But very interestingly about the design outside of those chameleon features is the sort of makeup look that is on its face, seeming to have little teardrops in the corner of that makeup on each eye, very reminiscent of sad clowns. Now, that could just be my interpretation, or perhaps it's just supposed to be the dramatic art of pretending that someone is crying on stage from a distance using makeup. That could perhaps be it, but it does seem very reminiscent of the sad clown to me. Now, moving on to the name, we have a very easy one here. Sob and bubble, to cry and bubble. Emphasizing even more the crying aspect of the nature of the face and the makeup on it. And now we're moving into my personal favorite one so far, though perhaps this could change as we find out the final evolutions, Grookey. Grookey hits a rock with a stick, very seemingly musically. It's very rhythmic, and people are very much associating this with drumming or rhythm in general. That's very possible. You then have the rock/ground type as the option for its second type, based on the fact that it is in fact hitting a rock. Very interestingly here though, we do see that it can remove the stick from its head. That stick that it was using to hit the rock was the one from its head, and if you watch the trailer closely, you see it put its hand back up and put the stick back before running away. The interesting thing to note about that stick then is, will this be another starter based on Sun Wukong, the Monkey King? That is very possible, since Sun Wukong is famous for carrying his Nyoibo. I was gonna say the Chinese name for it, but after failing to pronounce it 10 times, I decided to just go with the Japanese one. The Nyoibo is obviously the extendable staff that could go infinitely long that Sun Wukong carried around and used as a bow. A bow staff called in America for some reason, even though bow just means staff, but that's a different tangent. So a lot of people are saying there could be a Sun Wukong inspired evolution here, and potentially there could be, though it seems very weird to have one happen again when we had one in Sinnoh already. But perhaps we will in the grass line of things. And using this theory as your basis, you can further extrapolate the fighting type if this was the way things are going to play out. Very possible, but not too sure about that. So there is something that after watching the trailer a few times I picked up on, but I didn't see a lot of other people pick on, is that patch of grass, right? So the patch of grass that at the very beginning is set on fire by Scorbunny is then put out by Scobble, but then is just a mushy pile of wet grass, right? That was damaged by the flame. However, Grookey comes in and beats his little drum rock, and then the grass grows again and replenishes itself. It is flourishing after his little rhythm, as if his rhythm can help heal the grass, or that's how he uses his grass-type moves. Sort of like a snake charmer making snakes move via rhythm, he makes the grass and the plant life move and respond to his rhythm and drum beat. I think that's a very interesting note. And the final one before the name. So going to the name though, Grookey can obviously be derived from two sources, one more likely than the other I find. Could be groupie and monkey, which is possible I guess, but I think the more likely one is groovy and monkey, which the groove of his little rock beat and his little monkey body, of course. And with that, those are the three starters, and my thoughts on them are fairly straightforward. I don't think Scorbunny is that appealing to me anyway. Seems very out of the Pokemon realm of design, seems very Sonic almost in its design nature, as opposed to say Scobble and Grookey. Now Scobble's pretty cool, though I think he has a risk of having bad evolutions. I think his base is very nice, and the same with Grookey. Risk of bad evolutions based on what I'm hearing premise-wise, especially with the musician thing. I don't really think a musical Pokemon is very interesting, especially if he's gonna grow up to have two big log or rock bongos that he's banging on with giant sticks or something. It doesn't seem like it could be too appealing to me, but perhaps they will make it appealing somehow, or perhaps they'll go down the Sun Wukong route and have a very interesting grass starter that has the Nyoibo and everything like that. That it, extends after he pulls it out of his hair or whatever. I think that'd be very, very interesting. Potentially, anyway. But with that, those are just my thoughts on the starter Pokemon. Thanks for watching! Make sure to hit the like button, leave your opinions and counterpoints in the comments down below, and hit subscribe and the notification bell. That way you get to stay up to date on the channel and everything that goes on with it. If you're interested, please check out the merch store to support the channel in another way that gives you something in return. But till next time, peace!